We also have a $25 donation from Kona Rakan, who says, loving the mix of online and in-person runs this event. Here's to the tech crew who keeps this all running. Yeah, can we give it up for tech crew? And I also want to just take a moment to shout out everyone watching from home, everyone in the chat, cute chat, yeah, you know we can't be here without you. Muir Bataig donates $25, and they simply say, let's go. We still got some limericks coming in too. Zach Fear donates $20, who says, I was making a new limerick, which I thought would give me a kick. Oh wait, I am so lost with this one. I was making a new limerick, which I thought would give me a kick. Got stuck halfway through and didn't have a clue and realized I couldn't come up with a closing line, which unfortunately invalidated the limerick format. Thanks for all the runs, keep it up, good to see a live crowd. I just heard word that it is time. We are getting ready. Actually, hold on one second. Yes, it is time. We have slide 2, Band of Thieves by Nave357.
Hello, SGDQ. I am Nave357, and welcome to my home down here in hot and humid Florida. Yes, I will be one of your remote runners in this event, and I will be showing you Slide 2 Band of Thieves Episode 1 Any Percent. Joining me on the virtual couch, we have thisisnotjake and itzbytez.
Yo, what's going on? Feel free to just shorten it to not Jake. I'm also a Slide 2 speedrunning enthusiast.
Yo, itzbytez here. I also am a Slide 2 enthusiast, so a runner of several other games.
Yeah, these are some great runners we have here with me today. I really appreciate that. As you might have noticed already, we're not running full game, which would on average take around 5 hours, but we are just going to be doing episode 1. Even so, there's still a lot that we have to talk about in this run. So if the tech crew and everybody's ready, I can give us a countdown and we can start on go, which will be when I select Sly here in the hideout to begin our run. So, getting ready to start. We can go in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, Nave.
Good luck.
Thank you. So immediately, right off the bat, we're actually going to be starting this run with a cutscene skip. So you noticed Sly was climbing the pole up to the rooftop there. Immediately following that, there's another cutscene where our pal Bentley will explain some stuff to us. But stitched between those two cutscenes is a single frame where we can perform an input. So, with a frame-perfect pause, or just by unplugging your controller at the right time so the game pauses for you, we can actually just exit back to the episode menu, re-enter the game, and skip that cutscene. So now we're just going to run over here to our first job, Satellite Sabotage. And at this point, you might be noticing that you can't really understand what they're saying or read the text on screen, and that's okay. You're not having a stroke or anything, but they are speaking in Korean, which just so happens to be the fastest language for this game. And in episode 1 alone, it saves 34 seconds compared to the American release of this game. So now I'm just going to be performing some movement tech while I finish out this job. And Bytes, you want to explain some of what we're going to be doing here?
Yeah, so coming up on this first satellite, Nave's going to do something that we call a glitch high jump. Basically, we're using one of Sly's many moves in the game, which is the charge attack. And using that charge attack gives us a fake ground during our double jump, and basically just gives us a triple jump, allowing us to get to higher points in the game that normally a double jump would get to. But Jake, you want to talk about the other movement tech in this?
Yeah, we have one more kind of fundamental thing, which you'll see Nave doing a bunch, is he's swinging when he's jumping. And what's the point of that? What's that all about? Well, jumping in this game is much slower than sprinting on the ground, but by pressing jump and attack on the same frame at the same time, you can preserve your ground speed into the air, which Nave will be looking to do basically every single time he wants to single jump. And that's gonna wrap out our first job here.
Yeah, and for each square boost that I missed throughout this run, I'm going to be donating $5 to MSF. So I'm hoping to challenge chat to match me on that, especially if you've seen that grand prize provided by Heroic Replicas. They have Sly's cane is part of it. So not to steal Sense and Mr. Game & Shout's job or anything, but $200 cumulative donations throughout the event will put you in the running for that grand prize. And the cane, if you haven't seen it, is just phenomenal. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool to be a part of the prizes Sly Cooper representing. But we're coming into our first kind of what would be a major reset point. We got a bit of a finicky cutscene skip at the end of a little fight with these rats here, where again, using the charge attack, which is kind of a busted move in this game, we're going to be combining it with a crawl under a table to just get a lot of speed and kind of fly through some walls if it goes correctly, but it can be a bit tricky. So we're going to let Nave kind of focus on it and see how it turns out. Let Murray take care of the guards. He's much stronger than us. He's thinking about it. Get him.
No.
That's fine.
Not a big
We're just
deal
gonna
overall.
learn how to double jump here. We don't know how to do that yet.
Gotta learn how to double jump. We learn how to triple, but not double quite yet, so.
Thanks, Murray.
Yeah, I think this is the first double jump we will be doing. I don't think we've done one yet. But that same table clip that we just did, we're going to be trying to do a few more times here to kind of quickly bust through these laser security fences. As Nave quickly busts through one, and he's got a second one here. Nice. Those can be a bit weird, and this is a stealth game, as you all know, so we need to be extra careful that we don't let these guards see us. Yeah, so, we're in the tutorial. This is the first episode. We're supposed to be kind of learning about how Sly controls, but in the speedrun, this hallway is just one big blitz. And now for our combat tutorial, juggling's kind of our preferred method when it comes to these guys. But we got one more guard, and we're coming up towards the final vent. We'll see another table clip of Nave's feeling it.
Yeah, we're feeling it.
Oh my god, that is like absolutely terrifying. There's a very low risk you can clip out and miss the trigger, but as done correctly there, instead of crawling in that vent, which is very slow, you can just fly right to it.
Yeah, so now we are in the final area of this job where we meet the villain of episode 1, Dimitri, professional lounge lizard and international forger. Dimitri is a member of the Claw Gang, which is basically just the rival thieving gang of this game, and they are using the Clockwork parts for their evil schemes. If you played Sly 1, you might remember that Clockwork was the big bad guy of that game, and we defeated him at the end of Sly 1, but now he's in pieces, and these guys are using his pieces for evil. For example, Dimitri is using the Clockwork tail feathers here to print counterfeit money. So right now we're just taking some recon photos so that we can come with a plan for later. But with that, just 3 quick photos and we are done with the job. So something that you're going to notice at the end of this job and at the end of any job is that there's always an autosave. And this one is pretty special because we're actually going to be resetting the game during this autosave. And the reason for this is twofold. One, it allows us to skip a pretty lengthy Bentley cutscene where he tells us all about his plans and stuff. But 2, this game experiences something known as additive loads, which basically means that every time you load your save file or you load into a new area or what have you, those loads just get slightly longer each time. So being able to reload the game and refresh that is really helpful, especially in the long run for a full game run. So now we're going to be moving on to our next job, which is Follow Dimitri. And Bytes, can you tell me a little bit about following Dimitri here?
Yeah, so just as the job title says, we are going to be following Dimitri. Basically a auto-scroller tailing job where we're just going to follow. That's literally just a self-explanatory job. But this is where episode runs and full game runs kind of go apart from each other, where there are episode-specific tricks that we do. And it also changes the job order for episode 1 in particular. Mostly because this is an auto scroller where we farm coins in a full game setting, but because this is a episode run, we don't really need coins since we have those gadgets pre-purchased. That is the main thing of a full game where we get gadgets and use them to our advantage. Mm-hmm. And Jake, you want to tell us about the strat that we're going to be doing coming up soon?
Oh, we've got a tricky little guard here, but we've got him under control. Nice. But yeah, we don't need to farm coins, so normally this job would be played second, or out of the 2 choices we had coming out into the section. But instead, we're going to be setting up a very gnarly trick here, where Nave stands still over there, which just so happens to be the starting position for our next job. And now he's gonna kind of jump all the way across town about a bajillion times while swinging right before hitting the ground. And what he's doing is he has to mash out a jump every time. And he's kind of tricked the game into thinking that his last known safe, grounded position is still where he stood previously. And he has to do this all with the camera facing backwards because camera controls guard spawns, essentially. And we can't run into any guards while we're out on town, while we're out on this top secret mission. And we're gonna stand still one more time here, which will all make sense in just a minute. Bytes could kind of talk about the rest of this job.
Yeah, so this strat was actually recently found, it was found at the end of last year, really, by community member Hexu, who is literally the Santa Claus of the community, dropping this strat in December, or all times, where if you are in a guard's, I guess, spotting area, or that kind of hitbox, the game will not spawn you in an aggro range. Same with being on this ledge. If this flashlight guard was any closer, he's coming over.
We're safe on the ledge.
He's creeping over.
No worries.
We're good on the ledge.
But how did it feel, Nave? It's hard to tell visually about Super Jump's success.
Yeah. Well, the GDQ pressure is on, but I think that was a successful Super Jump chain. We'll find out momentarily for sure, but I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, so we're going to hit the water here in a second, and we had 2 spots that we stood still on, but currently we have locally spawned 2 guards in the more recent spot we stood, so we can't teleport back there when we hit the water. So instead, we're going to aim for that first spot, and it should put us right in the job trigger. Perfect. Just the speediest way to start off Bug Dimitri's office. This first part has been known about for a while, but this second kind of extension of it, if Nave can use a stuck spot nearby, using a handy-dandy parked car close by, we're gonna have to mash out just a few more super jumps. And the whole point of this is to deliver this painting to Dimitri's office. Come on, Mr. Carr. And there it is.
Okay,
oh my
God.
God.
Let's go.
That is...
It's all...
One of the newer tricks, and by far probably the hardest trick, I think it's easy to say, on episode 1. Nave makes it look easy. I've never seen him miss it in practice.
You guys
but
think I should go for the next hard trick here?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
why not?
Did so well.
It's GDQ.
We're on a roll here.
But yeah, so that super jump was extremely difficult, and if he dropped it at any point, it's pretty much game over, and we just have to run it in. But here's another one.
No.
Oh, a noble attempt.
Does that count towards the square boost count?
Ledgeless, though.
Yeah, that counts for sure. But
yeah,
that's an extremely precise jump, but making it up with some swag. Ledgeless movement afterwards, but that's the end of this job.
We got a silly raccoon painting inside an office of a self-centered lizard. You won't notice for sure.
Clueless.
But it's time to introduce the second member of the Cooper gang. You may have seen him a little bit in Sly 1, but now he's fully playable in the open world. What's the name of this fine gentleman, Nave?
Yeah, this is the Murray. So something that is just mind-blowing back in 2004 when this game first came out was that in comparison to the first game, you can now play as more characters than just Sly. You can play as both Bentley and Murray, which is really, really cool. They each have their own unique playstyles, and Murray's revolves around destruction. So he's a big, strong guy, big pink hippo, and he's really good at beating up guards with his fists, and he can also pick up items and throw them at objects, which is what Bentley's trying to explain to us here, that we can't understand. He's just telling us that if we pick something up and throw it at that alarm box, we can make it past these laser fences that are in our way. So using the video game magic number 3, we'll pick up 3 items here, break this alarm box, and then just keep on trucking. But for this second one, we can actually just punch it through the fence because it's close enough to do that. After that, we'll just run over here, and we're actually going to intentionally alert this guard so that he'll knock us over here, and we can walk through the laser fence using our iframes, and also aggro these rats a little bit more quickly than usual. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to use these poor rats to clog up this water pump and destroy it. Don't try this at home, kids. And that'll be it for water pump destruction. I think this would be a perfect time for a good amount of donations.
Oh, for sure. Asphodel donates $75, who says, loving Sly Cooper rep immediately after a spooky afternoon full of Castlevania and faith. Hype! Thank you for that, Asphodel. And then Kaiul donates $25, who says, to quote Dimitri, this run is greasy sweet. Just Go With John donates $50. Sly Cooper was one of my favorite series as a kid. So happy to see it at a GDQ.
Me too.
Time for one more?
Yeah, 1 or 2 more.
Okay, Megan donates $20, who says, donating in support of the remote block. Yeah, remote block hype. And I like this one as well. Alf, $25. The best part of waking up is GDQ in your cup.
Let's get one more in there.
One more? Okay. Chell Wong donates $25. Hi, SGDQ. Love Sly Cooper series so much. Thank you for all that you do, and keep up the good work. Love you all.
Thank you all so much for those donations. Appreciate it so much. We're now moving on to our next job called Silence the Alarms. We're still playing as Murray, so Murray fans rejoice. We're just going to be doing the usual, picking stuff up and throwing it at things. This time we're throwing it at alarm boxes around the property so that they don't interfere with our plans against Dimitri. This job is pretty straightforward and boring except for one aspect. Jake, what do you know about briefcases?
Oh, I get really excited to talk about briefcases. Coming up is one of Sly 2 speedrunning huge traditions in stream chats and such, where using the camera, we talked on very briefly earlier how it can control guard spawns, but it can also control which objects, populate the world. And Nave, by holding a very specific camera angle here, is gonna try to get 3 briefcases.
Let's go.
And he does get 3. One's a little bit to the left. We got a frog interference here a little bit. Yeah, I'm going for the frog backup. For 3 briefcase, Billy, as we like to call it. I don't really know. I'm not sure how it came to start, but it's kind of just a thing that we always...
a 3 briefcase Billy.
We're always going to get 3 briefcases. They're a little bit faster to use than guards, but in some situations like that where the guard was just right there, it was way faster than trying to get that 3rd briefcase. But we're going to finish out here with some handy-dandy nearby newspapers, and that is going to be the end of Murray. He's been a great help so far, but we're going to sideline him for the rest of the episode as it's time to get back to some auto-scroller action with Sly.
Goodbye, Murray.
Give Murray some claps. You did a great job.
But this time, we don't have to follow Dimitri anymore. We've got a new culprit to follow around town. Bites, who's this strapping young lass here?
This is Constable Neil, one of the Interpol police officers, tailing the Clockwork gang. She's here to test Sly, figuring out if he's worthy enough to be a thief and grab these parts. She's the one that brought the gang out to Paris and all that. But in this job, we're just following Neela. Don't want to hurt her or anything, just don't stay too close. Normally this would be another place for coin farming for full game, but there are certain strats to be careful of in this job in particular for the episode runs.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this a bunch. If you ever watch Sly 2 full game, I think we have some of the best auto-scrollers. That's not always true. There's a few that are bad. We can't claim to be perfect, but the coin farming really makes it fun. But without the coin farming, we've only got a few small things to kind of look out for. This is a bit of a chiller job where we want to give Nayla a bit of space. If we're really close to her, she'll kind of stutter step a lot and kind of look over her shoulder, which will just ever so slightly slow her down. But what's tricky about Nayla here is that there are also certain strats that go by the name of Nave strats for some reason, in which you want to be close to Nayla, but luckily we seem to have just the right guy here to explain those for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So something I noticed a long time ago is that if you're really close to Neela while she's crossing a rope like that right there, it'll actually cause her to cross that rope just a little bit more quickly than if we were maintaining our distance like we normally do during the running sections. So using that information, that very slight optimization, I was actually able to get my very first community gold or comm gold in this game in this job. And if you're interested in seeing a collection of comm golds, well, I've got the place for you. If you go to slygolds.com, that's where we keep track of all of the latest and most up-to-date strats. We have the fastest segments for every split in every Sly game on slygolds.com, so please go check it out.
Yeah, super great community resource. Honestly, really impressive. Everyone who's pulled it together, hashtag, not an ad, hashtag Augierino.
Augierino.
The owner of the website. But that's going to be the end of our auto-scroller, but we don't have time to dilly-dally. We're going straight to the next job. This is one of the only jobs where it's close enough that we just run, but we've got a brand new cutscene skip coming up, Nave. What is going to happen?
Well, first, as we're entering this door, you'll notice I'm going to hold down the PS menu button so it'll come up for just a moment. The reason for that is that there's a cutscene trigger right here in front of my face, and it's pretty much RNG if you hit it or not, but by opening up that menu, it'll consistently make sure you don't, and we don't want to do that so that we can use our smoke bomb gadget to lure this guard over, slam him to the ground, and skip that cutscene. The reason it gets skipped is because he is holding a key. So if he dies before we collect that key, then it's a job fail. And we're able to use that to our advantage to skip a decently lengthy cutscene there.
Yeah, that's the PS menu made that extremely consistent, recently found by community member HDLS, so huge shout outs.
Yeah, shout outs to HD.
We've got 6 keys in total to get here. You'll see Nave kind of tapping R1 a lot, the sprint button, to kind of, quickly move around. It's much faster than walking, but still will not get the guards to notice you, so that's kind of the optimal stealth movement. Yeah, nailing some really nice tight jumps there to climb up here a bit more efficiently. And we've just got 2 more guards here who always are on a little bit of a cycle, but they're looking pretty friendly. One thing I should notice as well is that there is pocket RNG with these guards. They can either have 2 or 3 stacks of coins. Not all guards are treated fairly, I guess, or equally. These guys, this one had 3, so it typically will balance out to be around 50-50, but if you're really unlucky or really lucky, you can see like full guards with 2 pockets or 3 pockets of coins. But with this 6 keys, of course, we need to use the keys to slow down the ceiling fans. You gotta have those highly protected at a nightclub. You can't just let anyone control the ceiling fans.
There's nothing suspicious about them, Clueless.
Yeah, well, once you see the laser security system we have up here, oh my god.
Wow.
I guess I know why those were locked now.
Yeah, nobody should be touching those.
But that's going to finish out our thieving work in here. But there is actually a 3rd member of the Cooper gang, and it's finally his time to shine. Nave, why don't you give us a little intro for who's coming up?
Yeah, so we're going to be playing as Bentley now, the guy that we have been alluding to so much throughout this run. Just like with Murray, well, actually the opposite of Murray, Bentley's like a small, weak character. He's not very good at fighting guards. He has a different amount of health as well, but he deals with his objectives in a different way. He uses explosives and sleep darts. And we can use those explosives, as I did right there, to fall down more quickly while we're in the air so that we can resume sprinting on the ground. And we'll use our sleep darts to put guards to sleep, of course. But we're also going to be using these explosives for a death abuse cutscene skip right here in Disco Demolition, the first Bentley job. See if I can nail it. Very nice.
Looks good.
Aside from that cutscene skip, this will, just like with theater, reset the area, so we'll have to go through this hallway again. But after I get through this hallway, we can use Bentley's gadget, Trigger Bomb. Bites, can you tell me about Trigger Bomb?
Yeah, Trigger Bomb is pretty useful in this drop, where we use the max range of its detonation, I guess we could say, where we overlap 2 cutscenes of these pillars just getting destroyed by these bombs. There can only be 1 Trigger Bomb out in play, so we make use of Bentley's pocket grenades, I guess we can call them. He just has lots of them handy in there. I don't know how much you can hold in that shell, but we got all 4 pillars down, and the disco is demolished.
Don't ask any questions about why we had to do this. It's top secret science. It all makes sense. You
Yeah,
really
when
should
you
play
guys,
Slay 2.
If you guys played the game, you would know. You watched,
Bentley's an engineer or something, probably. don't worry about it too much. But this will be our final game reset here, and I'd love to hear a few more donations.
Yeah, a few more donations I have for you. Dimitri donates $20. They say, Dimitri here, I heard you cool cats are writing limericks for this charity thing. I don't really like giving away money, but I couldn't pass up a chance to show off my artistic brilliance. Here we go. This raccoon dude found me in France. Wants to bum my house, but no chance. I refuse to be beat, because my suit's greasy sweet. Bro's got no vision, so let's dance.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Amazing.
Time for one more?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I really appreciated that Dimitri donation. That was great. But we are now entering Operation Thunderbeak, as it is known. So each episode has a bunch of jobs that is ended by an operation. And in this one, we're going to be performing some precise movement here. Several hours of dedicated research went into learning that if you just run forehead over to this water tower, then Murray can defeat the rats really quickly for you so that you can just blow your way inside. And inside this water tower, we have a pretty tricky puzzle. This first valve, we just want to turn once, as with the second one. But then the third one, you actually have to turn it once, just like the fourth. And then the final one, you turn once, and the puzzle is completed.
How does he do it?
Yeah, I had to pull up game facts for that one. That was pretty tough. But we turned off the
solved.
water to the fountain out here in the plaza, and now what's this guy doing? Bites?
Yeah, this guy, it's got a glowing pocket that's blue. And usually we see a yellow one, but it's pretty important because he is the repairman going to his repair truck to repair this fountain that's not working somehow. And somehow his buddies are knocked out. His key's gone.
Oh,
and he's
no.
knocked out.
Oh,
no. Dimitri's not going to like
Those
this
poor guys never knew what hit them. Now I guess they got fired because they're just gone.
Yeah, they gave up quickly.
They gave up. But something I actually really enjoy about this Operation Casually is the fact that like all this switching back and forth between characters and all this like cinematic stuff going on, it really makes you feel like you're in a heist, you know? It just feels really cool, feels really sneaky. I feel like I'm George Clooney in Ocean's 11 or something, I don't know. But now that we are back as Sly, we're going to climb to the top of this peacock sign, and we can just touch a cutscene trigger there and it'll launch us to the top, rather than a very slow and dramatic cutscene showing Sly climbing and being all cool and stuff. Murray's going to drive the truck over here and shoot the tow hook at us, which we can connect to the top of the sign. But before we pull it down, I think Paris has a rat problem here.
Dimitri's not too big of a fan of our destroy the peacock sign plan, so he sent out 9 of his best men to destroy what was once previously his own truck. But Nave's going to make swift work of him here. There is a fabled rat fight skip, which is becoming more popular in episode runs by some psychopaths for some reason. It's very precise. It's not so precise, but it's very random. Like, you can do the same thing every time, and it will only work very rarely. But Nave really making great work with these rats, using both square attacks and uppercuts to kind of double the amount of damage you can do.
That was a really good rat fight.
Insane. But here comes the sign. Boom. Well, yes, this is the only way we could access the printing press.
Of course,
room.
the
Trust
only
us.
way.
This is the only way in. It's very dramatic, very cool, but it's time for our final confrontation with Dimitri. A lot of the great donations we've had have been quoting some iconic lines from this very cutscene coming up. So shout out to Dimitri. Obviously a huge fan favorite, and he only has 1 episode compared to a lot of other villains, which, spoiler alert, have 2. But Dimitri's just so fun, so charismatic that He's always top of the fan charts. But unfortunately, in Korean, we can't exactly get all the classic lines that we remember growing up. But gives us a little bit of time here to talk about the final boss fight, which will be coming up, which will be time for our great little run, which has gone by really quickly.
It's crazy.
Zooming fast. But we've got some brand new strats. That smoke bomb gadget, which we used earlier, is going to have one more use here in the Dimitri fight, where we can essentially go undetected. Dimitri will still know where we are and attack us, but for some reason, as long as we stand within that smoke bomb, it kind of tricks the game into allowing us to do quadruple damage and even can interrupt his teleports across the room. But it's very finicky to kind of set up his AI, and there's a lot of objects in the room that he can land on or kind of mess it up on. But yeah, let's cheer Nave on as we come in towards the finish. We'll let you know when time's coming up. It will be pretty soon. Some of the best music in the game, but Nave always starts it off great with the first knockdown, which is kind of abusing a little bit of iframes, why we let ourselves get hit on purpose. There's the second one, and smoke bomb's in it.
Uppercut. 2.
And
Can we get a third?
We need
And
another.
a fourth.
Nice.
And a
this
fifth.
is just perfect.
There it
And
is.
time.
I just golded that
Nice.
split, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, this was a great run.
Yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, I guess while we look at Dimitri getting absolutely wrecked here, shout outs to all my friends and family. Shout outs to the entire Sly Cooper community, especially Bites and Jake for joining me on the couch here. I really appreciate that a lot. Also, thanks to MSF and GDQ for putting on this wonderful event and allowing me to be a part of it. It's always been a huge dream of mine to play in the GDQ run, so this has been absolutely fantastic. I know our community is used to only Sly 1 getting accepted in events, so it's been a huge honor to show off Sly 2 for the first time at a major event like this. I really appreciate the opportunity. Make sure to follow us all on Twitch and YouTube. We all play this game and many others. And be sure to check out the Sly games on speedrun.com, where you can find the Discord link to join the community there if you're interested in running these games. Lots of wonderful folks will help you out. Also, slygolds.com. Anyways, thank you all so much for having me. Love you all. See you next time, hopefully.
Wow, thanks so much for that incredible run of Sly 2, Nave. Give it up for Nave, everyone. All right, and I just want to read one more donation briefly. We have a $25 donation from Fat FE who says, "Speed!" I love it. That's how I'm feeling too. All right, that is my time hosting. I just want to thank everyone for having me. I've had a blast today, giving it up for the online remote block. We still got more to go, but now it's time for an interview.
Hello, Kungfufruitcup here again with you all. I know I'm around a lot today, just so you know. I am joined by SanchoPanda, who's getting ready to do the upcoming Eco run. It's going to be amazing. So it is a any percent but 60 hertz run.
Yes.
And now you're doing this on the PS3 and the 60 hertz. So like, what does that do for the run? Like, what does that mean for the run? This version of it,
Right.
on
Okay.
the
So
PS3, like compared to its original release.
2 years ago, Bucci did an amazing 50 hertz run at SGDQ 2020, where you got to see these crazy yeet jumps, where you like jump and skip whole bunches of puzzles. We don't get those in the 60 hertz version.
Okay.
So we'll actually see the whole game, but we'll still be doing a lot of stuff to make it go really fast.
Okay, interesting. So then what would you say are like some of the biggest pieces of tech then to look out for during this run? Like maybe the one thing that you would say is like the most important for your movement in 60 hertz?
The most important for our movement is, Yorda's got a somewhat independent AI, and so sometimes she stops and shakes her head at you, sometimes she's where you want her to be, sometimes she runs off somewhere else and it's crazy, and we call it the Yorda time tax, and it can take sometimes, there's a 6-second time loss because she went, no, I don't want to jump and grab your hand right now.
Yeah.
And then other times she'll run right into shadows when you want her to stay in place, and you can lose 1 or 2 minutes.
Oh, okay, geez. Okay, so a lot of this is dependent on Yorda for this.
Yeah, we need Yorda to behave, we need the shadows to behave, but if they misbehave a little, it'll make it more fun for a marathon run.
And for those who don't know, Yorda is the little cutie on the board here that you are guiding around through this castle. It's a really wonderful game, and we were speaking before it started, before this interview started, about how much we just love this. The environment of the game is one of my favorite things about it, just kind of the exploration that it encourages you to do without a lot of guidance. It's just a really fascinating game to begin with. So I think seeing it translated into a speedrun is really cool because you're taking those now I have this in-depth knowledge, and here now this is the way to apply it. And so yeah, I wanted to know with that, I've played it casually, obviously. You speedrun it a lot. What would you say the biggest difference is between the two?
I think the biggest difference is when you're playing it casually, you're so concerned for Yorda because she is your health bar. And so if the shadows get her, you die and you have to go back to a checkpoint. And you feel so much anxiety about that.
Right.
In this version of the game, we do a lot of leaving Yorda alone.
Okay.
And leaving her in rooms and just going on and doing other stuff quickly and then getting back to her. And there's one place where we actually have the shadows pick her up and deliver her to us. So we're not as scared, so we're able to do some tricky stuff. And we do things like Yorda delivery service, and hopefully it'll be same-day delivery.
That's hopefully.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You never know.
That's actually really clever. I didn't consider doing that because, yes, it is so stressful usually to be oh my gosh, they're going to take her, and then I have to redo the section or something.
Yeah, but with a lot of rooms, it's if she's in the room with you, the shadows will be there. But if she's not, they won't. So sometimes we'll just all right, stay over here, Yorda. Now I've got about 30 seconds to get this done and get back to her, and we won't have to deal with the shadows here. And we'll skip if the fight goes perfect, we'll have to only deal with 5 shadows out of 93.
Oh, interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then what are some of the things you could do to help avoid those shadows? Just leaving her in specific spots?
Leaving her in specific spots where sometimes the architecture obscures the shadows' pathing. They're not super smart, so they'll just be stuck and they can't reach her. And we do things like that to, it just depends on the room, how we do extra stuff with the puzzle to make it work.
Interesting. And so I know that there's some tough stuff coming up in the run as well that you might need a little help on. For example, there is an incentive. Do you want to tell everybody about that to make sure we can hit that for your sake?
Yes, please. So something we normally don't do in the 60 hertz run is get the mace. It's this cool little hidden secret thing that you can do. And if you get the mace, it does so much more damage that it just obliterates shadows when they get in your way. And there's a particular skip that's kind of run ending about 3/4 of the way through the game.
Oh, wow.
And when it fails, it costs you 6 minutes. And my estimate was not that generous. So if we get the mace incentive, I'll only have to spend 1.5 minutes to have that mace during that part to guarantee that it doesn't fail. Because if they try to get Yorda, we can just kill them with 2 hits, as opposed to when we have the stick, and it would normally take 7 or 11. It's really an impossible fight to have if we don't have the mace.
Interesting. Okay, so you are accounting for, we're going to get this incentive, and we're going to keep underestimate that way.
Yes.
And so we really need your help for that. So it's a good thing to consider. So yes, please get your donations in for that. It's going to be wonderful. It's such a cool game. And before I let you go, I know you brought some awesome stuff to show off, including the original cover art, I believe, right?
So the US release came out about 3 months before the JP release. It was rushed to be a part of the main advertising for the PlayStation when it first came to the USA. So PlayStation USA rushed this release, and this was the lovely cover that they made for it. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's why I like to say that we've got 60 hertz, but this game is actually different and much harder. It's like a hard mode because they hadn't balanced the shadows yet. So what I like to say is we've got the 60 hertz run, we've got the 50 hertz run, and we've got the hurts my eyes because it's so ugly cover run.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Sancho came super prepared today, and that makes me so happy. I love it. And so it's really interesting, like that. And then they released a totally new version of it, right? You said something about the marketing wasn't good, or like it didn't sell as well, and you think it may be the cover.
Yeah, I think everybody believes that. So then it came out in JP, and it was a finished version. And so the remake that came out in 2011 with Shadow of the Colossus, which was at the 10-year anniversary of Eco, that is actually just a reskin at high res of the JP version of the game. So we have the JP version for PS2 and the PS3 60 hertz on the same leaderboard.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So we'll be seeing the Japanese then, basically.
Yeah, basically like the original intended finished version that Ueda wanted without being able to do the yeet jumps to skip over stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to watch it. It's coming up soon. Please stick around for this. And we have Link's Awakening. Everything is so good today. I love this lineup. Thank you so much for chatting, Sancho. I appreciate it. And best of luck on your run.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty. I'll see you all soon.
All right, everybody. This is Sabera back at the host desk for one final go before I retire for this SGDQ. I am so excited to be here to host for the upcoming Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening 2019 Switch remake race between TGH and Glenn. But before that happens, we have a few donations to read. I'm going to start with a $25 donation from Fodfa that just says, speed. Big agree. Folks, we're actually going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. All right, folks, we have $5 from Train saying $5 donation Train for FNAF security breach. Let's get it going, folks. Just to remind you all that the 5 Nights at Freddy's Security Breach bonus game incentive is just over $24,000 out of $90,000. We still have a few hours to hit that incentive, and you want to see this run. So if you're getting donations in, please, 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 please remember to put them toward an incentive. And my suggestion is 5 Nights at Freddy's. We have $50 from Rasputin saying, long-time watcher, first-time donating. First time this event, that is. These events are the high point of my year. Keep it up forever. This goes to 5 Nights at Freddy's because more. We also have $10 from Princess Neko Cakes saying, putting this donation toward bonus game, 5 Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. The FNAF series are my favorite.